Cool. I think we are live. Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. You have Tim from the found.ee team here, as well as Taylor.
What's up, everyone?
For those of you that haven't been to one of these webinars before, welcome. I am found.ee's head of advertising, and Taylor is our head of revenue. And yeah, we're here to tell you a little bit about our new video ad offering today. We're going to be answering some questions, doing a walkthrough, and just really breaking down all of that. So we're going to take a few minutes, just let some of our late arrivers filter in. So yeah, while we're waiting, if any of you would like to sound off on where you're from, how your day is going. I am in LA, and it is a little gloomy today, which is unusual, but yeah, having a good one.
Yeah, thanks for the intro, Tim. Yeah, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. The sun is shining here, and it's been a little warm recently, but we're actually looking at a beautiful weekend ahead. So, yeah, feel free to drop in the chat where you're coming in from or tuning in from. Hi Tino in London, Turkey. All right, we got some global representation
Love
here.
it. Love it.
Yeah, and as we're going through this, Ashley, Zachary, Charles, what's going on? Hello, everyone. As Tim's going to walk you through a lot of this stuff today. As we say in most of our webinars, if you have questions or specific kind of case examples or case use examples that you might be interested in, feel free to drop a question or comment in the chat, and we'll try to address it as soon as possible. If for some reason, we always leave a little bit of time towards the end to also answer questions, but we'll try to also drop any knowledge that we have along the way as questions come up. Jeff from Charlotte, what's up, buddy? Glenn, I know Glenn, they're in Durham as well. We got some North Carolina representation here.
Nice. And this webinar will be recorded after. So, if there's if you have any questions after the webinar and you want to watch a recording to just to recap and maybe learn anything you may have missed, that will be posted, I believe, next week. And we'll be sending out a newsletter about that as well. We have a found.ee YouTube channel that has all of our recorded webinars on it. So if there's any previous ones that you have wanted to attend but you had to miss, those are all there. So yeah, we'll let you know when that's up as well.
I would just add in before Tim gets started. If I know, for example, Jeff and Glenn both have some involvement on the live side of the industry. I know, Glenn, you work in the label side as well. But if you are tuning in, let us know kind of what your focus is, whether it's your music that you're promoting, whether you're representing a label or a management company or a venue. That's always good for us to kind of have a frame of reference as to ways to speak to where this could be implemented in your marketing strategy. So feel free to drop that in the chat as well.
Well, we'll wait just one more minute to get started. I think 10:05 feels like a nice round number. But yeah, while we're getting that set up, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can have that ready to go. Yeah, will do, Michael. Yeah, this will be recorded and posted, I believe, next week. So there will be audio on that, and the questions that people ask will also be recorded in the webinar itself. So the webinars or the recorded webinar is a nice little tool just to recap everything that you may have missed.
Drop that in the chat because it sounds like Michael may not actually be able to hear us.
Perfect.
Little Ireland.
Taylor, can you see this okay?
Yes, we've got your screen. If anybody is having issues seeing Tim's screen, let us know in the chat as well.
Perfect. Let me try something really quick, actually. I'm going to move this chat to another screen so I can see some of the questions that are being asked.
Cool. Yeah, and I can obviously try to cue you in on those, Tim, as they come up as well.
Cool, that sounds perfect.
While Tim's working on that, we're excited to share some of these new video offerings with you in detail, a little more detail. You've probably seen some of the stuff through the platform, but it's been exciting to see some ads already coming in and seeing some of the results. And we're excited for the opportunity for really anybody to be able to access connected television these days, as opposed to maybe having to spend 25 grand or something going in the old days direct to a network or an agency to do so.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Cool. I think we can go ahead and get started. So yeah, just a little bit of intro about Foundy Video Ads. This is a new offering that was launched just last month. Yeah, just about a month ago. And what Foundy Video Ads are 15 to 30-second videos that can be displayed on people's TVs, web and mobile devices, streaming devices, and game consoles. So what we're specifically referring to is little almost TV style commercials. What we're displaying is the actual video itself, not an embed somewhere, but the actual video creative itself onto channels like ESPN and Disney. If you have Hulu and you stream videos on Hulu, there's like an ad supported tier of the Hulu subscription plan. And so the little videos that you see in Hulu on the ad supported plans, that's an example of where your video ads can display as well. Video ads can also play on the sort of media players of various news websites online. So I pulled up a couple of different examples. If you are on CNN and you're reading an article and you see that they have these style of media players where you can watch whatever content that you're watching. Sometimes they'll have a little bit of pre-roll video that displays on screen before you actually get to the content that you want to watch. That's a place where these videos can be shown as well. I have another example for Daily Mail. Sometimes they have these videos in the corner that display again, before the actual news segment that you're watching. So, these come up in a lot of different places. And this is now inventory that you can buy directly from Foundy itself. What can these video ads be used for? These are we generally see the use of these as for awareness campaigns and brand building campaigns. If you're if you work in music and you have a new album that you're trying to promote, that you're trying to get the word out about, or tickets for sale for an upcoming show in a specific region, and you're just trying to create awareness, get people to be familiar with what you're selling, this is a really good tool for that. Something to keep in mind about video ads, though, is that the majority of these placements, the majority of video ads that you can buy through Foundy don't have a clickable link. So you have to sort of break out of the mindset of that sort of, traditional digital advertising where, you click a link and then you go to a certain place. This is much more in line with, I guess, like traditional TV advertising where, the ad itself is really meant to create awareness and build your brand, get people aware. And, these sort of ads, work well when they're coupled with other types of ads, right? So if you're running a video ad, you create the awareness. You maybe follow up that ad with a secondary round of advertising. Actually giving people an opportunity to click through. That sort of 1-2 punch is quite effective. You're creating an awareness and a familiarity with the brand and what you're selling to your user, and then you follow that up with another web and mobile ad where people can actually click through and action what they're now familiar with. We see that tends to work quite well. We've even seen people use QR codes in their video advertising. So if you do want people to take an action, if you do want to drive people towards a ticket link or streaming a new album, whatever it is, if you can create a QR code, that links to that album or to that ticket site, you can display that in the video ad itself. And so that lets people who are watching the video ad, take that next step of visiting your link. And to answer your question, Glenn, yes, you can create a QR code in Foundy. It's in your short links tool. Once you have a short link, you can go ahead. There's a little drop down menu, and you can click it, and you can create your little QR code.
Yeah, just to jump in real quick, Tim, for that, Glenn, the QR codes are only available, I think, for our subscription-based clients or users. So we can confirm that, but I'm pretty sure. So if you don't see it in there, it might just be that you don't have the paid version. So something worth considering. An easy workaround. There are other QR codes out there that you could also take the Foundy link and drop in if you don't want to pay for the Foundy subscription. But there's some good value in that.
Totally. I see another question from Steve that we can just address really quickly before we move on. Is the remarketing pool built off of the video viewers? Currently in the front end, that's not available. Typically with remarketing, we grab those pools based off of clicks. We do have access to some technology that allows you to build remarketing pools off of impressions of these. But those are a little tricky to set up, and there's a cost incurred on our side. So we typically save those for our larger sort of multi-$1,000 campaign spends. If this is something that you think would be really helpful, reach out, and if it's a good campaign, we can get that in motion for you. But yeah, that's a little bit of a sort of custom solution that we don't make publicly available. But again, if you have a really big spend coming up, and this is something that you think would be helpful, yeah, please reach out. And one last question from Melanie: are the videos vertical or horizontal? They are horizontal, but we will be getting a little bit more into the creative specs for these videos towards the end of our webinar. So I'll show you what that all looks like. The next thing we wanted to cover is where can these ads be displayed? So, as you mentioned previously, these online video players, right, for websites like, the Daily Mail or CNN, even websites like WebMD, these are places online where your ad can be displayed. We have inventory in mobile games as well. So things like Words with Friends, Candy Crush, those little like ads, those little ad interstitials that come up between your levels of Candy Crush, your ad can be displayed there as well. But I'd say that the majority of the ads are actually displaying on televisions. So your ads can be displayed on connected smart TVs, so Vizio, LG, Samsung smart TVs. Those TVs that are connected to the internet, where you can browse the various apps like Netflix or whatever that are connected, to the TV itself. Your ad can be displayed there. Your ad can be displayed on gaming consoles, so PlayStation, Xbox. These gaming consoles now have little sort of media apps as well, whether it's Netflix or Hulu. So if someone is accessing those apps from their gaming console, your ad will display there as well. Specific TV channels and networks like ESPN, A&E, Discovery, Disney, Adult Swim, your ad can display on all of these places. And so, there's really sort of, a few places that these ads can display. It's the web and mobile, the web players, the web media players, on websites, on the actual devices, on your actual connected TV smart devices, and as well as, on specific streaming devices. So, really the reach goes beyond web and mobile. It goes beyond just when someone's using their phone or their computer, but also onto televisions itself, which we think is the really sort of powerful part of Foundy video ads. That sort of brings me to the next thing I wanted to cover is why are these video ads so important for now? Which is, I think the most recent studies show that sort of something like 70 million households in the U.S. have connected televisions, and if you target with connected television ads, you can reach approximately 72% of homes in the U.S. with Wi-Fi. Traditionally TV advertising, as is really expensive. It's a reason why, when you flip on the TV, the only sort of brands that are, showing ads on TV are really big brands like, your Ford or your Chevys or, companies that have a lot of big marketing budget. with Foundy sort of connect television ads, we have just a $500 minimum, which is way less prohibitive than the huge minimums that are usually associated with television. There's no long-term commitment where you have to show your ad for 6 months. If you wanted to run these ads for a week, you can do that. And generally, because of the pandemic, people's media habits are really changing. The last thing I read about it was that streaming and gaming has grown by something like 70% over the last 2 years, and people are reporting that these new sort of media habits are here to stay. And so video ads really give you the opportunity to reach these audiences in places outside of where people are typically are seeing ads. Especially since web and mobile ads are becoming they're still effective, but that space is more saturated than ever because of the pandemic. This is a new avenue, a new channel for you to reach interested and relevant users.
Tim, I was just going to jump in real quick. That I think that's a good time to kind of reference Steve's comments about the remarketing and brand building. The thing you have to remember with these types of ads is that, traditionally speaking, if you went directly to an agency or to a network, as Tim mentioned, you may have a 6-month commitment that, that would also, surpass 25, 50 grand, something, somewhat astronomical and maybe not realistic, especially when we're talking about marketing budgets in the music industry. So with the thing you have to remember too is that the technology of, while some of it's there, in general, remarketing is getting more and more challenging with iOS updates, the cookie blockers, all of the things. So you have to think about also the idea of remarketing to where somebody that's streaming television, while in theory it seems like it should be simple, there are also some challenges that go along with that, because we don't necessarily know, while we know what device, or there's technology to know that it was a device served in a certain household, possibly that's tied to an IP address. The industry as a whole, when we're talking digital marketing and programmatic in general, is getting more and more challenging for effective remarketing. So you kind of have to look at this as just one of your multiple touch points that may not have all of those capabilities at your fingertips that you're used to having on, the digital ad side of things. So it's just, while of course we would all love, from as marketers, that ability to very effectively know who we've shown an ad to and how many times, the frequency and remarketing to those, it's getting harder in general. And with televisions and connected devices, sometimes it's not even easy to connect that to the person that was actually in the room viewing it, because that device or that streaming service could have been connected to somebody else's account. Is that a fair way to kind of assess that, Tim?
Yeah, totally. I think one of the reasons why connected television, why CTV ads, across the sort of ad sphere are getting the world of ads are getting so popular is because of exactly like you said, the challenges of sort of data deprecation and privacy protection measures that are happening, all across, the web, the world right now. I think Google Chrome and Firefox are pledging to, deprecate, cookie-based remarketing. They were saying 2021. Now it's looking like 2020, end of 2022 or 2023. We have, the iOS, which, now sort of blocks tracking by default. And so, in the face of this sort of data deprecation that is facing ads, connected television has emerged as this, extreme, the fastest growing, ad product right now. And that's because it allows you to reach fans in a very targeted way, without sort of without needing to access their personal data. It requires a slight rethinking of ad strategy, right? Multiple exposures may be necessary. Coupling of different types of ad units, like a sort of direct response ad unit with a video ad unit may be necessary. But it's connected television is so sort of effective because it is the most highly engaged ad unit that you can buy programmatically right now. We see completion times of something like 90% of completed videos on these on Connect television ads. These ads are watched on average 90% all the way through. So you're also reaching people when they're the most highly engaged, right? They're watching the content. They are at home, streaming, whatever it is. And so it's your opportunity to reach fans when they are the most highly engaged, when they are, really tuned in to what you are saying. Fans don't have to, click out, to view your content. It's right there in front of them. So yeah, it's sort of the solution that has emerged to a lot of this sort of data deprecation stuff that's happening right now. I hope that helped, Steve. Yeah, let us know if you have any other questions. Cool. So with that, I think we can get into the walkthrough part of our webinar. So on my screen, you will see our Found.ee dashboard. This should be familiar if you've logged into Found.ee, in the past 6 months. We're going to go into the setup ad campaign tab, which is where you set up all of our ads and where you can choose which ad unit you like to set up. Most of you are probably familiar with sort of web and mobile ads, ad unit, which is what sort of the majority of Found.ee ads are, but we're going to go to video ads here. And the setup is meant to be very simple and very straightforward. If you've set up a web and mobile ad with us before, all of this should look, really familiar. You have the ability to enter a campaign name. Just call this one test. Select your advertising dates. Let's make this run for, let's say, a week. And your total budget. So again, the total budget here is, or your minimum budget here for video ads is 500. I mean, the reason why we have that in place, our other ads on Found.ee don't have a minimum, but the reason why we have a minimum here is that because they are video ads, there is a cost associated with the insertion order with our ability to actually get your ads onto these networks. So this is the only ad unit in Found.ee, in the Found.ee ecosystem that has a minimum. But again, 500 is really low compared to the minimums that are generally charged, for traditional television ads. Tens of thousands of dollars is the sort of typical minimum. For those, ours is just 500. To just jumping ahead a little bit, if you're wondering how far this budget will take you, we are averaging right now a 5-cent cost per view for each guaranteed view. And that sort of guaranteed view part of that statement is really important here. When you are setting up ads on video ads on Facebook and YouTube, you may get cost per views of something like 1 to 3 cents, but on Facebook a view is a sort of 3-second is 3-second sound off view, and that's what they consider a view. On YouTube, a view for them is 10 seconds, and sound doesn't have to be on. For us, our guaranteed view is completion of a 15 to 30-second video. So for 5 cents, it's the quality of view that you're getting is much better, and you're able to display these ads off of socials, right? So you're not just limited to YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. You are able to again get these ads onto streaming devices, onto actual TV channels, onto gaming consoles, smart TVs. So your reach is a lot farther, and you're able to reach fans that may not be on your sort of YouTubes or Facebook and Instagrams. Just moving down from the campaign setup, this first little box, to location targeting. As with all Found.ee ads, you can get as granular as zip codes, states, and cities. For now, Found.ee video ads are limited to US only. We are currently looking at expanding this offering to other territories as well, like the UK. But for now, for the sort of first iteration of our ads, they are located. They are limited to just the U.S. You can, we haven't sort of built in an actual sort of hard limit on that yet, though. So you can target places like the United Kingdom or whatever it is, but these your ad just simply won't display if you target those places. So United States is where your ads are sort of focused for now, or is what they're limited to for now. And we'd recommend trying to be broader here, as opposed to more narrow. The reach for these ads is quite large, but when you input too many cities and too many zip codes in here, oftentimes the ad platform has trouble bidding, spending its full budget, because the bid that is required, the amount of budget that is required to serve each and every one of your specific location targets, it can't happen for your budget. So we recommend going broader as opposed to more narrow. So for this walkthrough, we're just going to do the U.S. But we've seen successful campaigns where people target multiple states. I would say a sort of rule of thumb is try to keep it to, maybe if you're spending $500, try to keep it to 3 or less locations. The next thing we'll cover is our sort of deal targeting. So this is where you set all of the targeting, the actual sort of deals, the actual networks that you're displaying your ad on. You'll see there's 3 different categories here, for deal targeting, for where your ads can be targeted. And these are all devices, CTV only, and non-CTV. Just a little explanation of these terms. CTV, what CTV refers to is connected television. So it's a TV that is connected to the internet, or a device or built-in app that connects your television to content. So your LG smart TV, that's a connected television, or your Roku device, that is, what we consider under the umbrella of connected television. So anything, and any device that actually connects to your TV, or your TV itself, that has these sort of smart capabilities, is what we consider to be CTV. And non-CTV refers to web and mobile placements where there may be a video media player that is not a connected television. So again, if you want to display your ad as an interstitial between people's different levels of Candy Crush, or a video that displays while people are on WebMD trying to figure out if they have a cold, that's those placements are available under non-CTV. You can just select all devices if you are not discriminatory towards where you want your ad to display. If you're fine with your ad displaying anywhere on the internet as well as anywhere on these connected television devices, you can go ahead and select all devices. After you select the deal, you can open this up, and so this little panel that drops down are the actual deals that you can select. So, just to give you a little bit of an overview about how this is organized, each of these deals, for all devices, CTV only, as well as non-CTV, you'll see this sort of nomenclature for the for each of the deals that you can select. So it's essentially what this is telling us, right, is that A&E Networks is the network that your ad runs on. Then the after that first colon, the second part is the specific channel or the device that your ad appears on. And then third is the sort of category and programming that is associated on that specific channel. So, just running through these to give you, another example. If you were to select AMC, this sort of deal, we are displaying our ad on IFC, which is, I think, the indie film channel. And we're this is categorized as entertainment content, under the sort of broader umbrella of entertainment, and also it's long form content. You'll see in here a lot of these deals have short form appended to them, or long form appended to them, or even let's see, some of them even say live right here. as part of the, the category of the programming. What this refers to essentially is, long form is traditional TV formatting. So any content where, any sort of channels that have content where the programming blocks are sort of 22 minutes or over. So you think, thinking like, TV shows on channels, that's what we consider to be long form. Short form is any content that's less than 22 minutes. So if you think, for example, BuzzFeed, videos, or, some of those videos that are on those web and mobile players, in your mobile games, or on, various news websites, that tends to be short form. And then sometimes you'll see live as well, like this, for example. Live is, just actual live television. So, for example, there's CNN, news channels, anything that, any of those sort of like 24-hour news channels or live television. That's where live comes in. We have a lot of different categories up here that you can browse through, everything from entertainment to sports, lifestyle, and health. You'll see this RON, which is kind of an interesting name for this, but what RON refers to is run of network, which means everything that is on the network. So, for example, for this, for this deal, your ad will be showing on everything, everything that's on the A&E networks. You also see a lot of sort of repeat deals in here, and the reason why we have these is that the each of these really sort of correspond to a different deal, but the nuances are so small between the deal that there is a bit of a pretty big amount of crossover between the sort of various deals. So, when in doubt, it doesn't hurt to select all of them. Would always recommend selecting more rather than less deals. I think most of the test campaigns that we've run, we've set them to run on 3 to 5 deals at a minimum. This just helps make sure that your ad just is able to deliver, because there is enough inventory for your ad to deliver. Just going through some of these categories again, we have holiday stuff. It's probably not super applicable for right now, but if you wanted to show your ad on holiday programming right now, that is a possibility. Everything from comedy to family programming, which is like kids television essentially, game shows. We even have things in here for broadcasts that are in Spanish, and I think Korean and Portuguese as well. So if you're advertising international non-English music, that could be a good option for you as well. But we'd really recommend just going through and selecting, just browsing this list and selecting things that you think your target demographic would be interested in. So yeah, there's quite a lot in here, and again, there's the deals in here really vary from the actual sort of devices themselves, like Dish networks and DirecTV, to specific channels like Disney and Sam and let's see, Fox. So yeah, there's quite a bit in here.
I'll just jump in, Tim. If anybody on this webinar would like, I do have a spreadsheet that kind of outlines these. So I'll drop my email in the chat. So feel free to email me and I can send you a spreadsheet. That might be a little bit easier just to kind of sort via category and browse these. And then you could just come in and type those in. Just because we do know there are a lot obviously here to choose from. So if somebody would like that, I'll drop my email, just shoot me a note and I'll send you that spreadsheet.
Perfect. You can select again multiple of these different deals. If you're on the all devices tab and you select one of the other options, CTV only or non-CTV, you will be prompted. It'll essentially ask you to confirm. And what this does is, if you are selecting deals on all devices and then you select CTV only, the system will automatically remove the deals that are not CTV. And if you again go to non-CTV, the system will remove the deals that are CTV only. So you feel free to use this sort of tool if again once you've selected your devices, and if you're thinking again, having second thoughts about where you want your ad to display. You can just toggle in between these even while you are selecting, your deals. So just for the sake of this walkthrough, I'm just going to select a few of these different ones. I'm not really looking at these right now. I'm just selecting a few of them, for the sake of the walkthrough. Yeah, and then we're ready to move on to our creatives. Really quickly, I see a question from Ethan. Do you have channels that have performed best for album single video releases, or any case studies with best performing campaigns for labels? So this is a newly launched product, so we don't have any case studies yet. We've been testing a few of the channels, a few of the various channels, for music related video ads. In here, in the actual deals, there is a category for music, which is probably your best bet, for content that's directly related to music. But the deals that are in here, for music are the actual, your sort of music channels, right, on your televisions, on your connected televisions, or on your media players. And so, I would suggest trying to find other deals that have sort of adjacent interests to the music that you're promoting. For example, you have the ability to target Adult Swim. Within our video ads, Adult Swim, they have it's pretty sort of surreal out there content, but they do a lot of music related stuff. I think they actually have a label and they actually release music. And I actually have one indie artist that I've worked with previously who's actually targeted Adult Swim fans, when they're trying to grow their sort of social numbers. So Ethan, I would suggest targeting deals networks that are sort of adjacent to the sort of music that you're promoting.
Yeah, I would just add to that real quick, Tim. From a case study perspective, as Tim mentioned, this is still relatively new. We have had some capabilities of doing this on the back end. So we've done this manually for some folks prior to it being available on the front end. Most of those so far have been more lifestyle or comedy oriented content. But one thing I have seen, and we've had conversations with, we don't have a specific case example or case study on this quite yet, but if you have an artist that has a recent single or song that has maybe gotten synced in some type of commercial or, sports programming, following that up with, targeting specific type of channel publisher groups that might have content relevant to that. The specific example that came up was like somebody had an artist that was in a real estate ad. Their song was synced into a real estate ad. So they followed up, targeting, I forget what the exact publishing group was, but kind of that lifestyle content with that artist song. And then, the other thing to think about that I don't know, if we've talked a little bit, but Tim's going to get to some creative tips, but that is also thinking about, what it is you're trying to convey. It's going to be a little different than the way you might create a 30-second video for Instagram or TikTok or, even YouTube. So I know Tim will talk a little bit about that, but that's one case study I would say that will probably be coming soon is around the whole idea of if you have an artist that has some music being synced into television, following that up with an ad that is a video ad promoting that artist and maybe even talking about that song and how to stream the rest of his or her music could be a good way to use it.
Totally. And I think just, when you are, setting up video ads, if you just take a second to think about, what that sort of target demographic, of your music is, if you, it's, say it's a sort of like, 70s-esque, classic rock sort of song that you're putting out, the demographic of that would probably be, a little bit sort of, older, just generally than other sort of selections. So maybe you would want to select, stuff that falls more in line with sort of travel or news as opposed to, sort of kids programming. So if you just while you're setting up these sort of video deals, have a think about the demographic of who your target audience is for your music, and then select deals that, deals of media or content that you think your demographic would watch. Awesome.
One other thing, Tim, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I just realized this morning on a call with another client that Rolling Stone is actually in this targeting, but it's listed under entertainment. So
Mhm.
I think that's just because the way that our data provider lists that, but that is something also to consider. Just because there's something that doesn't show up in our preset groups that say music, doesn't mean that there aren't some similar examples that fall for whatever reason under their content IDs as entertainment as opposed to music. So definitely worth kind of scrolling through and checking things out.
That's a good idea, Taylor. Yeah, these categories were pretty newly implemented as well, just to make the organization of these deals a little bit easier to get through. But yeah, please, they're not completely accurate. We still have some refining to do there. But we wanted to get the product out there and get you all using it. So yeah, please browse through these deals. So going down to the next section, which is our creative. What creatives work here. Videos need to be between 15 and 30 seconds long. Videos need to be in MP4 format. And I think we had a question earlier about if these videos are horizontal or vertical. These are going to be horizontal videos. So, not the sort of square format that you use, for socials. These are going to be your sort of 1920 by 1080, standard sort of horizontal format. I think it's 16 by 9 aspect ratio, if my math is correct. But yeah, that's sort of standard horizontal, content that you see, on your television screens. I have a video here that, let's see, we can use. Here is a video for Andrew Bird. I think this is 28 seconds, so it's just under that sort of 30-second limit, but this should work.
Yeah, and Tim, I'm gonna drop in from my notes. I'll drop this in the chat, but just kind of my cheat sheet for specs on like size and all that stuff, so everybody has it.
Awesome. You'll see here there's a little progress bar for how much of your video has been uploaded. You'll also see, you can go ahead and click publish, I believe, while this is still uploading, and it'll finish uploading, when this is completed, or you can just wait for this to be fully uploaded. There is a little box here where you can input a URL for video ads. Again, just something to keep in mind. The majority of these video placements don't have a clickable link, but some of them do. So, that's why we sort of ask you for one. Feel free to, put the correct URL in there, but just keep that in mind that, a lot of these placements, the URL that is associated with these ads, even though we ask you for one, isn't clickable. Andrew Bird's website is something like andrewbird.com. I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. Let me double check. Yeah, andrewbird.net. That sounds right. Cool. And again, a best practice, I think I've mentioned it before, but, try to pick more deals than you think you need because, again, since video can be between 15 to 30 seconds long, sometimes your creative won't work on some of the deals that you select. So, it's better to select more rather than less different deals. And once that is all done, you can go ahead and click publish, and your ad will be uploaded and submitted and start, when the sort of designated date that you put in comes around. I think right now what we're seeing is generally video ads have a slightly longer creative audit time than our web and mobile ads. So web and mobile ads generally, our audit takes about a day, about 24 hours. For video ads, we're seeing something a little bit closer to, I think, 48 hours, just because the person on the other end who's auditing these ads actually has to watch each of these videos. So, give yourself a little bit more time than necessary, to get these video ads up. Something that I would also be wary of is the type of content that is in the actual ad itself. So again, a lot of these are displaying on actual televisions. So, you need to be a little bit mindful of profanity as well as, things like drugs, alcohol, blood and gore, things that would typically be not allowed on television advertising. These things, you should try to avoid them if possible. Some of these deals, some of the deals that are in here, will actually, have a little disclaimer by them that says that the content is sensitive or non-sensitive. Sensitive content being you can't have any mention of gambling or drugs and alcohol or stuff like that in your video creative, or your ad will not display. And there's even ones that there's even deals in here for sort of family programming, right? So that's definitely somewhere where things like drugs and alcohol and whatever it is can't be displayed. It can't be in your creative, or your ad won't serve. So you should definitely be mindful of that. Before we go ahead and click publish, I wanted to show you guys one last thing, which is this little gear icon in the summary tab. So when you click this little gear icon, it allows you to adjust the bid that our platform is submitting, to the ad network to help you win your inventory. Our average CPV, our average cost per completed view is 5 cents. So that is what the bid is. If you want to ensure that your ad is displayed everywhere that is possible, you can try to up this to 10 cents so that we have a better chance of winning all the different bids for the specific inventory that is out there. But we've seen CPV bids as low as 3 cents, work. So feel free to play with this a little bit. But 5 cents is what we default to, because that is kind of the sweet spot where you're able to get the most results, for your money, for your budget, and win the majority of the available inventory. So yeah, once this is all done, you can go ahead and click publish, and you're good to go. One more thing that I wanted to show you before we get into questions is the ad reporting tab, just to show you, how you can monitor the results of these video ads, while they are going. So we don't have these sort of, these metrics up top, customized for video ads specifically. So you'll see, for some of these video ads, this is a test video ad that we had run. You'll see 0 clicks and engagements, and that's just because the deals that we've selected don't allow for clicking out to a specific URL. Impressions in this case refers to the views that we're getting. So this ad had 800 views. Spent $80 for that. I think that works out to about 10 cents a view, and that's because this is a test that we bid at. We set that sort of CPM that CPV bid to 10 cents. If you scroll down, for those of you that are familiar with our premium domain web and mobile ads, you'll be used to checking this sort of box for the domains that your ad is displaying on. But as you can see here, it's because we're targeting deals, because we're targeting connect televisions, those domains don't come up. You'll see things like Roku or Amazon, Samsung. That means that your ad is being watched on these devices. So I would take if you're used to referring to this website performance box when you're monitoring your ad results, I would say that this is a little bit less relevant for our deals. It can give you at a glance a look at to which deals your ad is appearing on, which networks your ad is appearing on. But I would say generally this isn't super relevant for your video ads. If you scroll down, you'll see here, the sort of CPM, CPC numbers. Again, your CPC and your clicks here are not super relevant, for these types of ads. What you really want to be looking at, again, is your sort of impressions, and then the amount of budget that you spend to sort of work out, how much your cost per completed view is. CPM is, for the uninitiated, CPM is your cost per 1,000 views. So, that sort of works out to, about how much we spent there as well. Cool. I think that's it for the sort of walkthrough part, of our webinar. I wanted to sort of, open the floor up now for any questions that you all had on video ads. So yeah, please go ahead and fire away in the chat, and we'll get to them.
Yeah, and while we're waiting on any questions to come in, I wanted to add in when you're thinking about, kind of creative best example or best practices. Again, I mean, you touched on it a little bit, Tim, but there isn't necessarily always going to be a clickable link. But what you have to think about to some degree is that this is different than what people would see on Facebook or YouTube or other digital platforms that you might be used to marketing on. So remember that people aren't necessarily going to have the ability to like stop and rewind and go back. I guess maybe in some cases they can, depending on the device. I'm not 100% sure. But I say that to say, like, you don't necessarily want the artist name or the show name or venue name or whatever it is you're promoting to only pop up once, So if it pops up in big bold in the first 3 seconds, instead of it just going away completely, when you're crafting that video and editing it down, have that then move down to the lower third left, so that the brand name, whether that's the artist name or the venue or the show or whatever it is you're promoting, still lives on that video in case for whatever reason somebody glances away and looks back and like, oh, I love this music. Who is it? They have a really easy way to know and see who that is. I think Tim mentioned you could drop a QR code on there so that if they could pause it, they could then be able to scan that QR code and head over to your music page that you created on found.ee or wherever you're sending them. So, just remember when you're planning for this, if you're cutting one version of video for socials, you may want to have a slightly different version for, CTV and these video pre-roll ads that maybe have more of an audio kind of like a voiceover added in. So think about it almost combining video with like a radio spot so that it's really kind of making that the best impact and an impression that you can on these folks that might see it.
Yeah, Taylor, that's a really good point. I think bookending your video with branding definitely is a key thing to hit here. So I see a question from Tino. Can you select the TV networks that accept URLs apart from the ones which don't? Not currently. Not currently. I would say that if you're looking for TV networks that specifically accept clickable URLs, your best bet is probably the non-CTV options. So the ads that display on the web, media players that are listed under the non-CTV category. But I would say, for the most part, the majority of these deals don't. But if that's important to you, definitely look towards that non-CTV category of deals. Awesome.
Any other questions, folks? Sounds like you guys and gals have a pretty good feel for it, but we're here to help. If there are any questions, obviously feel free to follow up with us after, but let's see. Okay, another question, not necessarily regarding video, but Tino has set up a recent display ad, web and mobile ad. Looks like it still hasn't had an impression. So, yeah, Tim, Tino, I'll shoot you a message, and if you give us your user ID, we can look into that. It may, there's various reasons depending on the creative as to whether it passed auditing and some things like that. But I will direct message you, and if you want to drop your username or email, we can look into that for you.
Yeah, I think it's just across the board because of the holiday weekend that just passed. Audit times have been a little bit slower since it is an actual person on the other end, reviewing the actual content itself. But yeah, if you just want to reach out, we can look into that for you. Well, cool. Yeah, if there's no other questions, I think we can go ahead and wrap this up. So yeah, thank you all for coming to the webinar and listening and asking questions, and really hope that this was helpful for as an introduction to video ads. You know where to find us if you have any further questions on how to get video ads into place. We're always happy to do a sort of one-on-one walkthrough. We have Brandy on our team who does a lot of these walkthroughs with our users. So if you need any additional one-on-one help, just reach out and we can get that sorted. But to everyone out there from everywhere around the world, thanks again for attending, and hope you all have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. We'll be back next month, towards the end of the month, or I guess it should be towards the end of this month or first of next month with another webinar. But we appreciate you and look forward to seeing you soon. Happy marketing.
Happy marketing. Bye, guys.
See y'all.